I left last night, and I just drove 3.5 hours.
Good morning. Please join in singing our gathering song.
Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Congregations. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or are with us this morning for the very first time, we are glad that you are here. I'm Rick Pena, the worship associate today. Julia Fogel will be assisting me. Minister Reverend Sharon Wylie will be joining us via Zoom. Our worship musician this morning is Tim McKnight, and our song leader is Sarah Shepard. Our tech team is Hope Campbell and Dean Godet, and
I'm glad you're here.
Augusto.
Because they're doing the one you wanted to do.
And our greeters are Susan Llewellyn and Paul Cartwright. Welcome to our Sunday worship service. Welcome to those of you here in the chapel, and welcome to those of you watching via Zoom. For those of us in the chapel, please feel free to wear your masks or step outside if you need it for your comfort. Also, know you can hear what is happening inside while you are outside in the courtyard. We are always delighted to see newcomers joining us in worship. As a newcomer, you might be interested in the groups and activities we offer, which can be found in our email newsletter and calendar. Online newcomers will receive an email invitation to join our email list after the service. In-person newcomers, if you haven't already given us your email address when you signed in, please consider sharing it with us before you leave. Our weekly email is the best way to get information about the many groups and activities we offer here at Chalice. Now, let's take a breath together.
We begin our service by acknowledging that wherever each of us is watching, if we are in what is now called the United States, then we are on land stolen from indigenous peoples. Our congregational home in what is now called Escondido is on land that is part of the traditional territories of the 12 bands of the Kumeyaay Nation and the 7 bands of the Payam-Kuwicham, also called Luiseno. Land that is sacred to us now was stolen from people for whom that land was and is still sacred. In recognition that we are the beneficiaries of a history of colonization, we have made financial donations in the past year to 2 local indigenous-led organizations, Kumeyaay Community College and the Palma After School Program for K-12 students. It is our hope at Chalice to find our way to right relationship with local tribes.
Now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I'd like to invite Callie Leaf to light our chalice this morning. Our chalice lighting words come from Tracy Johnson, Beacon of Freedom. We kindle our chalice flame this morning, awakening the fire of our ancestors in our hearts. Beacon of Freedom held out to light the way, light of reason illuminating the path, spark of courage igniting our spirits, aglow with hope for all we endeavor to do together. Holy flame of times past, brighten this present moment, that we may be the love that is our center and our freedom and our foundation both. Blessed be. The words for our call to worship this morning come from me with a little help from co-pilot. We gather as a beloved community, setting aside distractions and anxieties. Let us touch deeper springs and be renewed. We seek and share comfort for the hurt that afflicts us, desire more love, more justice, and life more abundant. In this sacred space, we find meaning and connection. Let wisdom and compassion guide us. Together, we create a tapestry of hope, woven with threads of love and understanding. Please rise in body and spirit. You're invited to join in singing hymn number 1028, the fire of commitment. Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community. We tend to the congregation during this time by sharing and honoring our joys and sorrows. Here in the chapel, you are welcome to write your joy or sorrow onto a candle card, which will be collected from you. Online, please write your joy or sorrow, including your name, in the chat box. These joys and sorrows will be spoken out loud. And then we will remove this part of the service from the recording that goes onto our YouTube channel, so this sharing won't be publicly available online. If you would like to send Reverend Sharon a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, or to make a prayer request, please email her. Her email address will be on the screen in a moment. Please enjoy some music while you write down what you would like to share, so in that sharing, your burden is lessened and your joy is multiplied. light a final candle for all the joys and sorrows that go unshared and unspoken this morning. These two are held in the love and support of this community. We now Thank you, Julia. We now invite the children and anyone else who would like to come forward for a story. No?
Our story is titled Arrowville, written and illustrated by Jifui Bodo. Beyond the Arrow Mountains, where winds blow bitter chill, across the Arrow Ocean lies a town called Arrowville. Arrowville was never slow, a constant go, go, go. In a manic panic, people hustled to and fro. Every pointed person had a pointed point of view, and every point in Arrowville was always just askew. Once a year at school, there came a special prize event, a competition solely for the sake of argument. All pupils practiced arguing at lunch and recess too, all except for Barb, that is, who dreamily withdrew. The quarrel contest started. The time was 5 to 3. But ended most abruptly when Barb said, "I agree." Barb was sent directly home in a horrible disgrace, with a note of reprimand, a frown upon her face. Barb's father was the mayor. Now get it through your head. You can't keep on agreeing. You must dispute instead. You must rebuke, refute, retort. That's the proper way. Don't use words like "I agree," "yes," or "that's okay." That night, Barb felt atrocious and wrote a goodbye letter, then vanished in the moonlight with her backpack and a sweater. Morning came with warnings blaring. "Find a place to hide. We have been invaded. Lock your doors and stay inside. Who are these strange intruders, and are they friend or foe? Why have they come to Arrowville? Perhaps we'll never know." Barb's parents ran to tell her in a frenzied, frantic fright, but found her room quite empty. No letter was in sight. They thought the worst. They didn't know that Barb had run away. "The stranger! She's been kidnapped!" they both shouted in dismay. The strangers were vacationing, or that was their intent, but one wrong turn and they arrived in town by accident. Mr. Target mumbled with his map turned upside down, while Mrs. Target whispered, "There's not a soul in town." "This must be a ghost town," their son Bullseye said with zeal. It seemed a great vacation spot with genuine appeal. "Oh, what fun!" they all three cheered. "Let's stay here for the day." While filled with curiosity, Barb watched from far away. They found a perfect picnic park and ate their ideal meal: peanut butter, sassafras, and candied orange peel. While the Targets peacefully enjoyed the food and weather down at City Hall, the Arrow Council came together. No one knew just what to do about these odd new strangers, and so they clamored on and on about potential dangers. The mayor rushed into the room. "They've got my little girl! To the rescue, quick!" they gasped, then raced off in a whirl. After lunch, the Targets played a friendly game of catch until their ball crashed through a bush, finishing their match. "Yow!" The bush wailed violently and shook from side to side. "A haunted shrub!" the Targets gasped, with eyes popped open wide. But girl, not ghost, crawled from the shrub. The Targets were surprised, then offered Barb a lollipop as they apologized. "What's a lollipop?" Barb asked. "A toy or giant pill?" For such a treat did not exist in all of Arrowville. "It's candy, and we make them from our family recipe." The Targets spoke together in three-part harmony. Just then the frenzied Arrow mob came storming into sight. "We want the girl!" the mob yelled out, "and we're prepared to fight." Barb and the Targets were perplexed. and also mortified. With scurry, scuttle, scampering, they found a place to hide. "The town has gone completely mad!" Barb shook her head, aghast. "We can't hide here forever. We've got to leave, and fast." So quickly they devised a plan to make their grand escape, with tarp and twine and odds and ends and lots of masking tape. Carefully they crept away, concealed by their disguise, passing crowds on every street, avoiding watchful eyes. Then a snag revealed their ploy. It's time to try Plan B. On a makeshift cart they sped, their final hope to flee. A zooming, fuming fever fit, a chasing, racing roar. All Arrowville came closing in. Now what would be in store? The whole town yelled, "Give us the girl!" The warning pierced the air. The target screamed, "Don't hurt the girl! Don't harm a single hair!" Arrowville was clouded with confusion and dismay. The targets had not kidnapped her. Barb had run away. Barb then told her story from beginning to the end of how she met the targets and became their newfound friend. Silence fell upon the crowd. They knew that they'd been wrong, but from the targets came a sound, growing clear and strong. This whole absurd confusion burst the targets into laughter, which quickly spread into the crowd immediately after. The targets passed out lollipops and added bonus treat, and all who gave a lick declared, "This taste cannot be beat." I think our town should make amends and build a nice retreat, a place just for the targets, a place that's fine and sweet. The targets then could visit us at any time of year. What do you say, good people? The mayor spoke with cheer. Then to Barb's amazement, to her surprise and glee, all the Arrowville together shouted, "We agree!" So every year to Arrowville the targets came to visit and stayed at their vacation home, which they thought quite exquisite. Arrowville was much the same and always on the go, with hustle, bustle, arguing, and racing to and fro. But all of Arrowville agreed, east, west, and up and down, that smack dab in the middle was the sweetest spot in town. The end.
As the children leave for their classes, we join in singing.
Good morning, Chalice. It's good to be with you. A week ago, the annual General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations came to a conclusion. This event is commonly referred to as GA, or General Assembly. By my account, 20 Chalice congregants have attended GA, either online or in person, at some point in the past 10 years. 2 congregants, plus myself, attended this year. GA is very much insider UU business, and it's absolutely okay that the majority of Chalice congregants have never been to GA and will likely never attend. If I didn't come back from GA and tell you some of what happened, you might never know or care. The business of the UUA can feel very far away from congregational life and from our day-to-day lives. At the very same time, there were decisions made at GA this year that will result in some people deciding that they are not Unitarian Universalists anymore. We even have congregants here at Chalice who are pondering that question.
Am I still you? And so even though GA can seem very far away and UUA business can feel disconnected from anything we do here, there are decisions made at GA that have far-reaching impact and that may be more important to some of us than the rest of us realize. So what happened that was so important? The main thing is that delegates from our congregations voted to approve 6 significant pieces of writing. That's all these things are, pieces of writing. So first and foremost, changes to Article 2 of the UUA bylaws. We talked about these proposed changes quite a bit a couple of years ago. Article 2 of the UUA bylaws is where the 7 principles and 6 sources of our living faith tradition have been described. That's where that language has lived. Now in that section of the bylaws, because of these changes we've made, now there is a set of 6 values and language about covenant. All described with love at the center. So we have a graphic to show these values with love at the center, and the graphic itself is to be inserted into the bylaws. So this isn't just a sort of a helpful image, it's actually an official image. And I think we looked at these a couple of years ago, again, when these changes first started to be talked about. So this is the official graphic for the bylaws, but there will be many different artistic representations of these values with love at the center in years to come. I have no doubt. I have already seen several, and one set, I ordered a bunch of stickers for us, and whenever they arrive, I'll make them available to us on Sunday and hand them out. So yeah, we can expect lots of T-shirts and other kinds of merchandise if you're interested with different depictions of these values. Maybe a side note, maybe not. As soon as we approved them, I asked in a Facebook group, is love a 7th value or is love something else? And I think we pretty quickly came to consensus that love at the center is not a value. There's different language used throughout the writing to describe love in various ways. Love is a power, love is a foundation, love is a spiritual discipline. So it's the values with love at the center, not values including love, if that makes sense. So these are the kinds of things we'll start to talk about and dig deeper into in the years to come as we live with these values and explore them. So you in the chapel have a booklet with the verbiage of the values and the 8 principles and the 6 principles that existed before that. The little booklet is called A History of Statements. I hope our worship leaders found them and that you have them. And for those of us online, I have a link I'll share in just a few minutes. It's where you can find it online. So yeah, in 1961, when Unitarians and Universalists merged, we had what were called the 6 principles. They are very different from language you're used to. In 1985, we got our newer, more familiar to us now, principles and sources. And then now we have evolved and updated language again. So the process of revising this section of the bylaws began in 2017 with the formation of the Article 2 Study Commission. This hopefully rings some bells for folks. A first draft of the proposed changes came out in 2022. That's when we started looking and talking about them. A public feedback process resulted in changes and refinements. The values were voted on for the first time at GA in 2023, and then they were voted on for a second time this year. This is the process required to make these changes. So this is the final approval. We've done it. And but these could continue to be amended and altered. Our principles were modified in 1995, so changes can continue to happen. There were 4 proposed amendments to these values this year. Only one was approved by the delegates. resulting in some improved verbiage under the value of equity. So that's already been incorporated into the things that you're looking at. Chalice was one of the 15 sponsoring congregations that helped to get that amendment onto the GA business agenda. So thank you to our Board of Trustees for supporting that work. It's a good change, and I'm glad we made it. So that was the first piece of writing, and the one you're most likely to have heard about already. There were 5 more approved: a business resolution, a responsive resolution, and 3 actions of immediate witness. The approvals ranged from 96% to 74%. Overwhelming support to approve them. They all needed 2/3 support to pass. But I want you to think for a moment about what it means when 2,500 people are voting and 74% vote in favor of something. That means that 26% were opposed. That's 600 people, 600 Unitarian Universalists. We like to talk about diversity of ideas and beliefs in Unitarian Universalism, but it's actually much, much harder when we disagree with each other about values and ideas that are very important to us. We come here to our community for a sense of belonging, for being with our people. But when you're someone who holds what turns out to be a minority opinion, whether it's in our congregation or in the wider denomination, our understanding of who we are as Unitarian Universalists can feel threatened. So I'm going to read the 6 things we voted to approve at GA, not in their entirety, but the titles. And these weren't all of the business of GA this year, but these are the most significant items, I think. So I'm going to read these in order from the document that had the highest approval percentage to the least. And I'm going to let you know the number of people who voted no. And I want to give a trigger warning. One of these items is about support of trans people. So hearing about those who voted against it can feel very painful. And I can tell you that it was extremely painful at GA to hear people speak against a resolution in support of trans people. It was a difficult piece of business on the agenda. So with the highest support of 96%, we approved an action of immediate witness titled World on Fire, Humanitarian Work and Climate Change. 170 delegates voted no. With 92% approval, a business resolution titled Embracing Transgender, Non-Binary, and Intersex People is a Fundamental Expression of UU Religious Values. 174 delegates voted no. With 86% approval, an action of immediate witness titled Centering Love Amidst the Ongoing Impact of COVID-19. So that's 321 delegates who voted no. We voted to update Article 2 with 80% of approval, so 499 delegates were opposed to approving those changes. With 77% approval, a responsive resolution in support for the October 7th hostages. 508 delegates voted no. And with the least support of 74%, an action of immediate witness titled Solidarity with Palestinians, and 600 delegates voted no. We like to talk about diversity of ideas and beliefs in Unitarian Universalism, but it's actually much, much harder when we disagree with each other about values and ideas that are important to us. So I wanted to share with you a reflection from the business session of GA, where we were getting ready to vote on Article 2. So we were preparing for the discussion where people spoke at pro and con mics. And then after that, we went to vote. So this was played during that business session. This reflection comes from the Reverend Victoria Safford. Here she is.
I'm Victoria Safford. I'm white in my 60s with short silver hair. I'm wearing a dark jacket with a colorful scarf and a pin that says in Arabic, Amal, which means hope. I have a lit chalice beside me and a bookcase behind me. Friends, let's take a breath. Breathe deep the spirit of life and know that by breath we are bound to one another, to every living thing and the rain and the land, a larger love and mystery that transcends our understanding. Breathe deep, and wherever you are, be grateful. Here together, we are in good company. We're also a small company. Today's vote is momentous for us, but we are small within the wider world, and this day is small within eons of time, both future and past. What we do here matters deeply, yet in context we know this may not be the most important election of 2024. Beyond our UU world, the wider world is weeping, aching, dancing, changing. Within our little worlds, our congregations, our households, we ourselves are weeping and aching, singing and struggling. Our vote today matters, and yet in some ways nothing changes either way. We still need, each of us, a Unitarian Universalism to anchor us, steady us, challenge us, unsteady us, infuse our days with gratitude, and bless our nights with hope. I made my notes for this video in a hospital room while my partner recovered from cancer surgery. He's going to be fine. But still, the Unitarian Universalism I need right now and always is not the clenched fist of bickering, nitpicking, theoretical arguments, but the open heart of brave hope and unrelenting love. I'm weary, maybe you are too, of the scathing, belittling UU bluster that hard discussions sometimes bring out in us. We have no time for that with our world as it is and our lives as they are. I made my notes in between texts to two friends. One has beloveds in Palestine right now, and she's not sure they're still alive. So much is at stake. My other friend just published a poem about his Jewish ancestors and their young descendants now on campuses and in the street, leading us all, he wrote, toward a terrible, beautiful new promise. So much is at stake. I wrote my notes with machines humming, fluids dripping, my friends holding war as intimate reality on a green spring morning on a warming, wounded planet, and nurses moving in and out, doing their hard and holy work, all the sacraments of care. What matters and what doesn't? What's transient and what's permanent? When I began in ministry, the principles and purposes were still new. And then, as now, people tore their hair, rent their garments at GA, lined up at microphones to decry the death of our tradition, the top-down imposition of a creeping creedalism that would destroy our movement. And here we are, not yet destroyed. We can neither be brought down nor saved by any bylaw change. It's the way we move that matters, the way we move forward together, the weight of the trust and respect and compassion we bear for each other, the strength of our great covenant. However we vote, we put love at the center, unflinching, insistent. This free faith we so cherish reveres the past and trusts the dawning future more. We believe in evolution, unfolding, always, not unraveling, and revelation is not sealed. So take a breath. What matters to you in this vote? What is one thing that matters? And what will happen to that thing if the vote does not go your way? What will truly be lost? And what won't, if it's true? What will abide either way, still holding you, still calling out your name? And if the vote goes the way you hope it will today, how tomorrow and in the days to come will you reach out to your people, your UU family? And I mean those who don't agree with you, who may not be like-minded, but surely are like-hearted? If the vote goes the way you want, how will you resolve to be an agent of healing, a brave, humble channel of healing and hope? Friends, however it goes, we must stay hand in hand, drawing our circle more wide.
We are not yet destroyed. Those words were powerful to hear at that moment. It may seem now that it is over, that it should have been obvious that the changes to Article 2 and our newly articulated set of values with love at the center should have been obvious that those would be approved, but it was not. There has been arguing online over these changes for several years now, and as is the way with online discussion, those who were disapproving and critical had very loud voices. Reverend Safford's advice to us was to all of us facing the uncertainty of what would happen next. And there are certainly people who left GA feeling that they had lost their religious home. So I don't know that we have Chalice congregants that upset about the Article 2 changes. If so, I haven't heard from you. But we definitely have congregants who do not support the action of immediate witness expressing solidarity with Palestinians. At GA, Jewish Unitarian Universalists spoke for and against that statement. Remember that 600 delegates voted against it. It was our most difficult decision. I believe that it is part of being a Unitarian Universalist to eventually face the question, am I still you? Ours is not an easy faith. I am not you because it aligns easy with who I am. I am you because this faith pushes me and challenges me. I know the day will come when I will wrestle with my discomfort over feeling out of step with the UU majority on some matter of importance to me. I feel that is inevitable. It's part of who we are. So this advice I share with any of you who may be wrestling with that question is the advice I want to capture for myself in the future. I'm speaking to Sharon of the future, and I will look back here to see what I said and advised myself from a grounded point of view. So first, you will have the impulse to resign your membership. When something upsetting happens, we want to show someone that we are upset. We want to demonstrate. But resigning as a member does nothing but take away your own power and voice. You can resign later if that turns out to be the right choice, but resigning as an act of protest does not affect change. Second, you are likely feeling lonely, hurt and lonely. The sense of belonging and shared commitments can feel very fragile at times. Take time to grieve. Take time to check in with UU friends who feel as you do. Take time to check in with UU friends who disagree with you on this matter. As Reverend Safford told us, we may not be like-minded, but we are surely like-hearted. People with shared values and ideals can still disagree on significant issues. We are not each other's enemies. Third, remember that pluralism is now one of our explicitly stated values. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. And fourth, if this is truly a crisis of faith, I suggest giving it a year. Stay in community. Keep trying to connect. If the hurt comes from a GA action, wait until after the next GA. to see what happens there. And if in a year it truly feels like Unitarian Universalism is no longer your home, then you will know it is time to move on. I want to close my reflections on this year's GA on a lighter note. Some of you may remember that in November 2022, I invited us one Sunday morning to see if we could name together our 8 UU principles. We could collectively name 5. And I don't mean, memorize word for word, but just the gist of them. We could name 5. It was a good exercise in realizing that we were perhaps not as attached to the principles as we might have imagined. Our values are easier to remember, and we've already been given an anagram to help us remember. Are you ready for it? It's jet pig. Jet pig. Justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Now, some UUs love the idea of playing with the idea of jet pigs. Here's a jet pig. I have been informed that jet pigs are powered by love. This is just one image. I have other ones. And so religious educators have actually started to take actual stuffed pigs and then to decorate them with these sort of jet packs or wings and hearts to show that they're powered by love. So I just told you that some UUs love goofing around with the idea of jet pig. Other UUs think this is too silly for something that is as important to us as our values. You don't have to love the idea of jet pigs to appreciate that our values are easily recalled using this anagram. I will alert you that the letter I is the one that takes some focus to remember. It is interdependence, not inclusion or integrity, or it turns out there's a lot of I words that might pop into your head if you aren't focusing. And the other letters come more easily, I'm finding. Even though interdependence is a big word from our 7 principles, it's a word we've had as part of our statements for quite a while. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant congregation to congregation and through our association to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Inseparable from one another, these shared values are justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. May we step into the work of living our values with courage and commitment. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. You're invited to rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing together hymn number 1020, Wo Ya Ya, found in the teal hymnal.
Heaven knows how we will get
be seated.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. Lao Tzu teaches in the Tao Te Ching, the master has no possessions. The more he does for others, the happier he is. The more she gives to others, the wealthier she is. We encourage you to text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to enter your card information. If your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate pledge after the dollar amount. The phone number for text donations will be on the screen in a moment. If you prefer to make an in-person donation of cash or check, there are envelopes and a donation box to the left of the chapel double doors. You can leave those donations after the service. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with the words of affirmation.
With love as the center, the mission of this congregation is to inspire, connect, and act.
If we all sing one song of love, one song of peace, one song to make all our troubles cease, one hymn, one theme, one hope, one dream. Imagine what tomorrow would bring if we all sing one song.
If we all learn the words, just think how great the song would be. And since the song is in freedom's sea,
Will you join me in the spirit of prayer? The words of our prayer come from the Reverend Liz Weber. Spirit of life, help us to be present with all that is our life, both our deepest sorrows and our greatest joys, so that we can truly live, engaging fully in our own life and in our community. Spirit of community, help us know how linked we are, how each one of our cares touches us all. Help us to ask for support when we are in need and offer our support to others when we are able, so that we may rest in the solace of one another's love. Spirit of love, and help us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, so that we might fully embody love and resist hatred. Spirit of resistance, help us to stick up for what is right, even when we are tired or afraid. Help us to dream of the world as it should be and act to bring that world about. Help us to find hope each day. Spirit of hope, help us through this day and each day. Help us to be present for all that is our life. For all this we pray. Amen, and blessed be.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing together hymn number 1064, Blue Boat Home, found in the Teal hymnal. Please be seated.
Our closing words come from Maureen Killerin. This benediction was inspired by Choose to Bless the World by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker. No matter how weak or how frightened we may feel, we each have gifts that can make a difference in the world. In this coming week, may you do at least one thing to support the broken, to welcome the stranger, to celebrate what is worthy, to do the work of justice and love. Be strong, be connected. Each day act so you may be a little more whole. Love and blessings to each of you. You are invited to close our time together by singing the well. After our closing hymn, please return to your seats for an announcement. Please be seated. Deb, did you have an announcement? Our social hour will begin in a few minutes, and online Zoom at the same link and in person in our courtyard. Those of you here in person might want to bring your refreshments into the green room and have a visit with our online congregants. And now we have an announcement from Deb.
I won't take much of your time. Feeling a complex emotional life because of the coming election in 2024, maybe little fear, little anger, little nervousness, dread. I have two suggestions to channel that into constructive activity. One is you can join the people of Chalice who are currently writing letters to get out the vote. Many of you, please talk to Paul Courtwright, talk to any number of people in the social hour, and we'll clue you in how to do that. You can do it from home, you can do it in writing groups, whatever you choose, but it's so important to get out the vote this fall. And then finally, if you don't feel like writing letters, you can donate. Even if you do feel like writing letters, you can donate. This will be our last call from the pulpit for donations. Chalice is in the great position of having been given a matching grant from First Church, so they're providing a 3-to-1 match. But we need to raise about $3,300, and last I heard we were a little over halfway toward that goal. So if you can dig in and donate any amount, it would be well worth it, and it will help, because these envelopes and stamps are not free, and we need help. So anyway, thank you so much. Go drink coffee, enjoy yourselves, talk. Thanks. And get out the vote.
Julie and I look forward to greeting you at the chapel double doors to hear how the service was meaningful to you. Enjoy the day.